Hi, welcome to the garden. Let me ask you a question. Would you like to grow 4 times as much food for half the work or less? Of course, we all would. Now, if you're going to make a small change, you got to change the way you do things. And if you want to make a big change, you need to change the way you see things. I'm talking about mulch. But how does mulch work to produce 4 times as much food in half the work? And originally what I thought, this was just blocking the sun and keeping the seeds from germinating. That's not exactly what's going on here. We've got a volunteer turmeric that's pushed itself right up through the mulch. That is a good example that the mulch isn't stopping something because it's holding the sunlight back. I started doing this in the late 60s. We tilled everything, and we hoed weeds, and we added nitrate fertilizer, and we did it all wrong. Look at this picture of dirt. This was a garden, but it was tilled up, and then it was compacted by rain, and then it dried out. It doesn't have too much life in it. I'm sure that there's a little bacteria, but all that's going to grow there is weeds. Now, bacteria's life cycle is based around nitrates. And if all you have is bacteria, you're just going to have nitrates. And weeds thrive on straight nitrates. In the beginning, there was no life, it was just rock. And we've talked about what dirt is: sand, silts, clay, just different sizes of rocks. And then what soil is the bacteria gluing those pieces together, making microaggregates, along with some other stuff. But that's the basics. But over time, nature and those weeds will introduce some fungus. Once you get a little bit of fungus and bacteria into your soil, now you got to look at what kind of plants grow in that. So if you've ever wondered why you can't grow cabbages and strawberries side by side, it has to do with the ratio of bacteria and fungus. You've seen me pick a couple pretty nice heads out of this corner, but actually look how long that stalk is. That cabbage should be right down on the ground and making a nice head. The soil right here is too rich for the cabbage. And the more fungus gets into your soil, the more ammonias are created, the better balance you have, the better your crops are going to do. Your regular crops, your potatoes, your tomatoes, everything that we normally grow as gardeners. In nature, as succession progresses, it goes from no fungus and very little bacteria all the way to a smaller amount of bacteria and very fungus. And that would be your old growth forests. It's a pretty simple concept, from rock to old growth forests. First, bacteria, and they glue together the little particles and start making structure, and then their predators eat them. Very high nitrate environment. Weeds really love it. And slowly, fungus starts to populate in. As that happens, you change the balance of nitrates to ammoniums, and then your predators change a little bit, and then it starts to balance out. And somewhere around 600 micrograms per gram of soil of bacteria and of fungus is a really good spot to grow your vegetables. Then it starts going a little less bacteria and a little more fungus, so you got more ammonium than nitrate, and there's your trees. And then your old growth forests, very highly fungal. Most of that energy from those trees go into the soil. In your weedy plots, only about 10% of the energy of the plants go into the soil. And that's what's going on underneath your mulch. You can do this too. Get 4 times your harvest, half the work. If you want to learn more about the deep mulch, click that link right there and I'll meet you right back in the garden. If you want to learn more about the living soil, click that link right there and I'll meet you right back in the garden. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.